students, welcome you all to our brilliant channel Maths Nation. Dear students, if you have not subscribed Maths Nation, kindly subscribe it now. I promise to complete your syllabus. Would like to solve all your queries which you may kindly drop in my comment box. Dear students, in my last sessions we have discussed about direct and inverse variations. We continue with this direct and inverse variations. I have already told you, please practice variety of questions and do your worksheet and ask me your doubt in my comment box. Recall what is direct and inverse proportions. What is direct and inverse proportions? What is direct and inverse proportions? The direct proportions, in the direct proportions, x upon y is k, constant. Means when x increases, x is directly proportional to y. When x increases, y also increases. In case of inverse proportion, this is opposite. xy is equal to k is constant. Here x is directly inversely proportional to y. When x increases, y decreases. When y increases, x decreases. This is called inverse proportion. And in case of direct proportion, when x increases, then the y increases. Okay. Then at first, when you read a question, first think either this is a direct variation or indirect variations. If this is direct variations, then we use this x upon y equal to k. This formula. When this is inverse variation, then we take x into y equal to k, means constant. By using this, we can find out the solutions. Okay. Then here, when you read the questions, at first find out either this is direct variation or inverse variation. At first try to understand the questions. Here the question says, Renu types 540 words during half an hour. How many words would she type in 8 minutes? Just understand the questions. See, Renu types 540 words in half an hour, means in 30 minutes Renu types 540 words. How many words would she type in 8 minutes? Here when the time period is increases, number of words is increases. This is direct variation. When this is direct variation, then x upon y is a k, means constant. Here make a table and let x, y. What is x here? X is number of words. X is number of words. And y is the time period. Time period. In half an hour, means in 30 minutes, Renu types 540 words. Then how many words she type in 8 minutes? Here this is direct variations, because when the time period increases, number of words increases. As this is direct variation, means x upon y is equal to k, constant. Here this is 540. Then you don't know what is x1. We have to find out x1. Here 540 upon 30 is equal to x1 upon 8. Then this is cancel. Then this is 3 1 18. Then here x1 upon 8 is equal to 18. x1 is equal to 18 into 8. This is 144. Means in 8 minutes, Renu types 144 words. In 8 minutes, Renu types 144 words. When you read a questions, please try to understand either this is direct variation or indirect variations. In case of direct variations, both increases. When x increases, then y increases. In case of inverse variation, when x increases, then the y decreases. This is the difference between direct variation and inverse variations. And when this is direct variation, you use this formula x upon y, k constant. And when this is inverse variation, you use this formula x into y, k constants. Okay. Then next questions. I have already told you, please practice variety of questions. Variety of questions which will help you in exam paper. Here Rabi walks at a uniform rate 5 km per hour. What distance he would cover in 2 hours and 24 minutes? Here Hari walks 5 km per hour. Then here when the time period increases, then the distance covered increases. Means this is also a direct variation. This is also a direct variation. Then the Rabi walks at a uniform rate 5 km per hour. Means x is here distance. X is distance and y is time period. And the y is time period. Then 5 km is covered in 1 hour. In 1 hour means 60 minutes. In 60 minutes, then we have to find out the distance covered in 2 hour 24 minutes. 2 hour 24 minutes means 120 plus 24 in 144 minutes. In 64 minutes he covered 5 km. When the y is 60, then this is 5 km. Then when the y is 144, we have to find out what is x1. This is direct variation. Then we use this formula x upon y is equal to k constant. Here 5 upon 60 is equal to x1 upon 144. Then this is 12. Means x1 upon 144 is equal to 1 upon 12. Then x1 is equal to 144 upon 12. Then this is 12 km. Then this is 12 km. Means the Rabi in 2 hour 24 minutes means 144 minutes covered 12 km distance. Okay. Then take another question. Here the question said 35 men can do a piece of work in 49 days. In how many days 35 men do it? Here when I have already told you students, please when you read the questions at first decide either this is direct variation or inverse variations. If this is direct variations, we use this formula x upon y equal to k constant. When this is inverse variation, we use x into y equal to k constant. Here the number of persons and a piece of work. Here the number of persons, a piece of work in days. Just think, when number of person increases, then the time period must be decreases. When number of person increases, then the time period to complete the work decreases. If 45 men complete the work in 49 days, when the persons become 35, then number of days must be increases. The number of person decreases, but the number of days increases. Then this is inverse proportion. When number of persons decreases, then the number of days increases. When number of person increases, then the number of days decreases. Here this is inverse proportion. Then we use this xy equal to k constant. Here the question says a particular piece of work is complete by 45 men in 49 days. Then how many days is required for 35 men to complete the work? To complete the work in how many days? To complete the work in how many days? In how many days? Then here this is inverse variation. This is inverse variation. So you at first make the table. This is x, this is y. Then here when there is 45 men, then here 49 days. Then when this is 35 men, then what will be the number of days? Means y. What will be the y1? Here this is inverse proportion, means x into y is equal to k constant. Then x y equal to k, means 45 into 49 is equal to 35 into y1. Hence y1 is equal to 45 into 49 upon 35. 7 5 ja, 7 7 ja, 5 9 ja. Then this is 63 days required to complete the work. Here 63 days required to complete the work by 35 men. When there is 45 men, then they complete the work in 49 days. When the person reduced to 35, then the work is complete in 63 days. Okay. The next questions. Here the 14 workers build a wall in 49 hours. Here this question is same types. I have already told you, please practice variety of questions. Variety of questions will help you to do any questions which will be asked in your example. Here 6 pipes can fill a tank in 1 hour 24 minutes. How long will take to fill a tank if 7 pipes are there? 6 pipes fill a tank in 1 hour 24 minutes. When the pipe increases, here from 6 pipes the number of pipes increases to 7 pipes. Then the same tank will be filled. Then the number of time period must be decreases. As 6 pipes fill the tank in 1 hour 24 minutes. When the number of pipes increases, then the time period must be decreases. This is also inverse proportions. Then let us do it. Here let us do it. Here the question says 6 pipes required 1 hour 24 minutes, means 60 plus 24, 84 minutes to fill a tank. Then when there is 7 pipes, find out the time period. Then this is inverse variations. Make the table. Here this is x and y. As we know, for the inverse proportions, x y equal to k constant. Here x is number of pipes, and y is the time period. Then the y is the time period. When the number of pipes is 6, then the time period is 84 minutes. When the number of pipe is 7, we don't know what is the time period. We have to find out the time period. This is inverse variation, because when the pipe increases, the time period must be decreases. Then this is inverse variations. X, y is equal to k constant, means 6 into 84 is equal to 7 into y1, means y1 is equal to 84 into 6 upon 7. Then here 12 7 ja 84, 12 6 ja 72 minutes, means 1 hour 12 minutes. This is 72 minutes. Okay. Then when there is 7 number of pipes, then the time period reduced to 1 hour 12 minutes required to fill the tank. Okay. Then next question. What the next question says? In a fort, 300 men had provision for 90 days food. In a fort, 300 men has a provision for 90 days food. After 20 days, 50 men left the food. Then how long would the food last for the same rate? Look at here. When the 300 persons are there, they use the food for 90 days. They have the food for 90 days. But after 20 days means when the 70 days left, 300 persons food left for 70 days, because there is food for the 300 men for 90 days. 20 days 300 men are there, they consume the food. Then after 20 days 50 persons left, means the food for the 70 days for 300 men, the food is left there for 300 men for 70 days. But here 50 men already left. Then the number of men reduced to from 300 to 250, because 50 persons left the food. Then the 250 persons will consume the food in how many days? Here just understand the questions. When number of persons increases, then the food amount is fixed there. Then the number of days, when the number of persons decreases, then the number of days increases. Just look at the questions. The food is for 300 persons. For 90 days, 300 persons can consume the food in 90 days. When the persons reduced to 250, then the food amount will go for more days. Means when the number of persons decreases, then the number of days increases. Here is the question is of inverse variations. For inverse variations, we know x into y equal to k constant. Here look at here. The food is for 300 persons for 90 days. But after 20 days, the persons 50 persons left, means the persons become 250. Then the food is after 20 days, the food is for 300 persons 70 days food, but 20 persons will consume it in how many days? Then this make the table x and y. X is for number of persons, and y is number of days. Here the 300 persons will consume the remaining food in 70 days, but the person here reduced to 250. Then find out what is y1. As this is inverse variation, xy equal to k constant. 300 into 70 is equal to 250 into y1. Then y1 is equal to 300 into 70 upon 250. 0 cancel. Then the 25 here is 12. Then 12 7 ja 84. 12 7 ja 84 days. The remaining persons, the 250 persons will consume the remaining food in 84 days. Where the 300 persons will consume the food in 70 days, because 20 days 300 persons are there. They consume the food. After 20 days 50 persons left. Then the 250 persons will consume the remaining food in 84 days. Okay. Then I have already told, please practice variety of questions, and when you read the questions, at first decide either this is direct variation or inverse variations. If this is direct variation, use the formula x upon y equal to k. When this is inverse variation, x into y equal to k. Okay. Then here the farmer has enough food for 28 animals in his cattle for 9 days. 28 animals can consume the food in 9 days. How long would the food fast if there were 8 more animals in the cattle? If there are, this question is also inverse proportions, because when the number of cattle increases, the food will consume, number of days decreases. Then this is also a inverse variations. The food is for 28 animals. The food is for 28 animals for 9 days. For 9 days. When 8 more animals are added, means the animals become 36 animals. Then to find out the number of days, here this is also inverse variation. Inverse variation means x into y equal to k constant. Here x and y. X is number of animals. X is number of animals. And here y is number of days taken to consume the food. Here the number of days. Here the number of animals is 28 and the food is consumed in 9 days. When the number of animals increases to 36, then what is the number of days the food is consumed by the animals? Then as this is inverse variation, xy equal to k constant, means 28 into 9 is 36 y1. Then y1 is equal to 28 into 9 upon 36. 4 ja 7. 7 days. When the number of animals, 8 animals are more there, then the number of foods instead of 7 days will be consumed within 7 days. Within 7 days. Then the food will be finished. The food will be consumed. Food will be consumed within 7 days. Within 7 days. Okay. Then students, please do all your questions and at first try to understand whether the question is direct variation or inverse variations. Then use the formula for direct variation, x upon y constant, and for the inverse variation, x into y constants. Okay. If there will be any doubt, please ask me in my comment box. Please students, today this much. In my next sessions we will continue with time and work. Okay. Thank you students.